Apple has, as I'm sure you're aware by now, upgraded the iPhone 4 to the iPhone 4S. It's all new inside, it seems, with faster dual-core A5 processor and a dual-core graphics processor too. So iPhone games are going to get even better, I suspect. The oft criticised, usually unfairly, antenna design has been modified so that it may be able to intelligently use different sections of the metal according to how you're holding the phone. We'll see. And the camera has been upgraded to 8 megapixel resolution, wider f2.4 aperture. Video recording can now be done at 1080p. The software is the new iOS 5, of course, with the addition of the Siri natural voice recognition and response system. You'll recall that Apple bought Siri last year. All in all, though, a nice engineering job, Apple. Colour me impressed so far. More Windows Phone Mango smartphones are being announced. Of widest distribution is the Samsung Focus Flash for the USA and the Omnia W for the rest of the world, with 1.4 GHz processor, a 3.7-inch screen, and just an 8 GB mass memory inside. The camera's only 5 megapixels too, though Samsung's cams are usually pretty good, so don't worry about this too much. Mind you, all the original Windows Phone 7 phones are getting Mango now too. My HTC HD7 already has it. Check yours via Zune Desktop. I'll have much more on Mango in a phone show coming your way very soon. If you read around the web, other reviews of this, the LG Optimus 3D, which has been around for a few months now, have criticised it for being large and heavy at almost 170 grams, but I think they're being a bit unfair. The Optimus 3D is only marginally larger than other 4.3-inch screen tablet phones, and it feels like a quality product, with great choice of materials, including a beautifully grippy rubberized back. Going for something as light as the Galaxy S2 isn't necessarily a good thing when it comes to tech, in my opinion. And after all, this does have 2 cameras to fit in, or 3 if you count the one on the front. That's right, there are twin 5 megapixel 720p cameras on the back, enabling true 3D images and videos. The physical separation isn't huge, but the results can be very good, at least when viewed on the Optimus 3D. Because it's not just the camera system that's 3D here, there's also glasses-free 3D on the main display, thanks to a parallax barrier system that can be software activated behind the front LCD pixels and in front of the relevant back illumination. The net effect is that the display shows both left and right images at the same time, but the backlight and barrier make sure that the correct lit up images reach the correct eye. And no, you probably can't see the effect on this simple 2D video. Well, that's the theory. When it works, the effects are extraordinary. If you hold the device just right, at the right distance and angle, and if you don't move your head, and if you don't tilt the device, and if the 3D content has been correctly encoded, then you'll have a novel, impressive, almost immersive 3D experience. That's a lot of ifs though, and you have to be fairly determined to use it right in order to have a totally glitch-free, frustration-free and headache-free 3D session. And the screen brightness is by definition halved whenever you've got 3D turned on. Laws of physics and all that. LG even have a dedicated 3D button here at the top, dedicated to bringing up a 3D menu leading to most of the 3D appropriate content on the phone. It's where a camera shutter button should be, and no, you can't use this to take photos in 3D mode. I checked. Sadly, the button is hard-coded in this version of Android 2.2.2. There's no gingerbread here yet, by the way. The Optimus 3D comes with a number of short 3D encoded demo videos here, plus the Let's Golf game, also fitted for 3D, which works as advertised. Caveats over head tilting aside. There's also a 3D copy of Asphalt 6, the driving game, but it's crippled by not being able to use accelerometer steering because, you guessed it, that means tilting the phone and you lose the 3D. However, most 3D on this device will be that you create yourself. Taking 3D photos and videos of family and friends and then impressing them by playing it all back on the device is huge fun, even if they have to fiddle a bit to see the 3D completely. Their jaw will drop when they get it right. If you have a 3D TV you show off, then you can just plug in via HDMI and impress people even more easily. You can also upload to YouTube, though videos do have to be manually tagged after uploading to let YouTube know which 3D encoding scheme has been used. You'd have thought they'd have auto-detected that by now. You can see a test video I shot for the phone show in 3D at this URL. But do note you'll have to use a pair of these red and blue 3D glasses because of the way YouTube re-encodes the video into 2D compatible anaglyph form. and you will rather lose the lovely sunny colours in my test video because of the celluloid. Oh well. Viewing via the Optimus 3D screen or via a 3D TV is definitely the way to go though. Photos are actually trickier to handle because most photo uploading sites don't yet recognise the JPS 3D images. There are tools available to flatten these later into 2D, but then you might as well not have bothered buying a 3D phone in the first place. The Optimus 3D is something of an experiment, I feel. One that succeeds at a pure technology level. It really does offer a glimpse of how 3D might work in your pocket, but it's let down by the fact that we don't yet have matching 3D TVs, 3D computer screens, 3D capable social media streams, 3D refrigerator doors. Oh wait. Away from the 3D, the Optimus is a fairly capable but kind of unexciting 2011 Android superphone. There's a 1 GHz processor inside, 8 GB of internal system storage, plus microSD expansion, and a 1540 mAh battery. Not bad. The usual core Android applications are present, but LG couldn't resist fiddling with nearly everything, from a rewrite of the home screen code to include a number of interactively resizable widgets, as with this weather one, to its subtle rewrites of some of the main apps, including contacts, calendar, and most notably, the web browser, which now sports a permanent bottom toolbar. Plus LG's selection of social widgets, that thankfully these do let you dig through into the native Android third-party equivalents. If you're a stickler for pure Android, as I kind of am, then LG's version will annoy, but most users will hardly know any different. Thankfully, LG is seen to license DivX and other common video codecs, meaning that every video I threw at the Optimus 3D was handled perfectly. There's even a 3D button to convert your 2D videos into fake 3D. Avoid this, it doesn't work at all and just makes everything shimmer and become dimmer. I think I'll stick to 2D. The supplied mono speaker is adequate, though a bit tinny. One small hardware annoyance before I sum up: the Android control icons here are hard to make out when not backlit. If you switch devices often, this is a real pain since their order is unusual and the backlight goes off again quite quickly. Now, which spot was back again? No, it's the other one. The Optimus 3D is a clever and well-constructed slice of future technology, even if some of the supporting services and equipment in daily life, i.e. the 3D stuff, aren't necessarily there to match yet. Is the admittedly impressive 3D the way of the future? Possibly. If it is, though, at least you know which smartphone showed it off first. Now, excuse me, I have got a YouTube 3D movie to watch. There we go. Hang on. No. There we are. Just don't move, Steve. Don't move. Still not moving. This is something I've mentioned every now and then in passing, but I'm sorry it's reached the stage of a full-blown rant. Look, I'm using the iPhone, Galaxy S, HTC, HT7, Google Nexus S, Nokia E7, the BlackBerry Curve, my cherished N8, whatever. In each case, I'm out in gorgeous sunlight. I decide to take a photo or video, and I do. And then I discovered that there was a fingerprint or dust or dirt or worse on the exposed camera glass, and that my photo or video, my record of the moment, is effectively ruined. So I do what most of us are having to do these days. I waste 15 seconds before every single photo, examining the camera glass of my phone, wiping it on a hopefully clean portion of my clothing, looking at the glass again, deciding there's still a dust or mark, wiping it again, examining it again, and then finally taking the photo. And even then I'll have a nagging doubt in my mind as to whether I got all the marks off or not. If the fingerprints weren't mine, they'd be from my family. Lending my phone to children, even for a few seconds, is a recipe for 1,000 sticky prints to be instantly added. And every time I put my phone down on a surface, I worry that the camera will get scratched or dirtied. Things used to be so much better. Remember this, the Nokia N95 from 2006, the first real smartphone that had it all. Full protection on the rear. In fact, slide the protector to one side and it even launches the camera app for you. Very similar to how a standalone camera used to work. Then there was the Nokia N82, a refinement of the idea, which had the protection more integrated, a quite superbly robust solution with full protection against fingerprints and dust, again launching the camera. The N86, also from Nokia, used by me for so long on and off, was the last to feature such a mechanism. It only added a millimetre or so to the back of the device, yet I could hold the phone how I liked, plant my fingers anywhere on the back, knowing that when I flicked that slider back, the camera glass underneath would be pristine and ready for action, with the camera app already launched. Sadly, nothing since, especially in the wider smartphone world, has come close. There was the Nokia N97, so much else flawed about that. There was the N900, a beast of a smartphone on a platform that never went anywhere. But I can't think of anything else. It's true that some manufacturers do sink the camera glass very, very slightly, which at least helps stop scratches and obvious dirt, but come on, it's something of a token effort, and many don't bother at all. Nokia, Samsung, HTC have all sinned mightily here in the last 3 years. Manufacturers claim they want to keep the thickness down. They also claim they want the camera to be always available to augmented reality apps. And they seemingly refuse to protect this most vulnerable little circle of plastic. And yes, sorry to shatter your illusions, it's almost never actually glass. So here's a voice in the wilderness crying out for camera protection again on modern smartphones. It doesn't have to be bulletproof like this N82. It just has to be kid-proof and snack-proof and pocket dust-proof. And if the extra millimetre of depth needed also inspires a manufacturer to, shock horror, put in a larger battery at the same time, then I, for one, will be cheering wildly.